very excited. Everything's been terrible, right? Like new Rings of Power, don't care. And it's like if you're not invested, how are we going to keep watching it? Pinocchio was just awful. Alan was supposed to see this movie Medieval, but it's not like in every theater. It's like getting a very mild release. But I am happy to report to you a film called Barbarian, a movie you might not even ever have heard of, by a new director. I have to look up this director's name. Made this film. The director is a guy named Zach Kreger, and Barbarian is a horror film. I don't want to tell you too much, except you must see this in a theater. It also has aspects of comedy. It kind of starts off with like an Airbnb mix-up, okay? And a lot of films have done this lately, probably because it's a thing that really happens. There's a character named Keith, played by Bill Skarsgård, and he's great in it, by the way. Bill Skarsgård is great. And there's a woman named Tess, played by Georgina Campbell. Tess shows up at a house in Detroit. She's got a job interview, and Keith is there. There was a mix-up. She booked on Airbnb. He booked on a different service. They both have same confirmations. So what do? It's like, okay, they sort of awkwardly, I'll spend the night. We'll make it work. Well, things go bad from there. Everything is not what it seems. Is someone else in the house with them that they don't know? They're not aware of. Who knows? All I can say is this: things don't end well. Cut to, and this is as far as I'll get. I don't want to tell too much about the story. Cut to Justin Long, and he is an actor who's in the middle of getting Me Too'd, and he's the owner of the house. So he kind of returns to the house to like, is this an asset that he can liquidate? And things don't go well. All I can say is I really don't want to go into detail. That's like about the first half of the movie, but it has that sort of like Psycho-like thing where it starts off with one story and then kind of pivots to another to pick up the characters from the last story. I don't want to tell you much more about the story. You can look up the trailer for Barbarian, directed by Zach Kreger. And I have to say, one of the best horror films I've seen this year, up there with The Black Phone. So I know I really enjoyed The Black Phone. I don't think this is as good as The Black Phone, but I will say that it's frightening and it's funny as hell. And Bill Skarsgård is great. He played Pennywise, and my God, we saw it at the AMC Burbank 16 in the Dolby Digital Theater, packed screening. Everybody, the laughs were like, there's as many laughs as there are scares in it. And the scares, they're not such cheap, like, the cheap scares. There are a few cheap scares here and there, but man, God, with this movie, highly entertaining. And I don't know what else to say about it, except if I say anything more, I'm going to ruin it, except I loved this film and I can't wait to see it again. That was my second time. I'll see it a third time. I like to see horror films with my girlfriend. What did you get to see Barbarian?
Does the trailer? Oh, I have not seen it. I'm not a big horror fan, and I feel like this one's gonna scare me. It might be a little too much.
Don't take your daughter.
The question I have is, does the trailer ruin this at all?
I'm trying to remember if I've even seen the trailer. I don't think I've seen the trailer. So yeah. a lot of times,
the trailer does a setup, and I think it leads to like a cellar. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie, but
no, that does. Yeah, it leads to a cellar, and wow, it's just this, right up there with Black Phone. Not quite as good as Black Phone. One of the best horror films of this year. Really loved it. So I encourage you to see it. And then also opening this weekend and in limited release, more limited than Barbarian, is a movie called House of Darkness. And we're going to talk to the director, Neil LaBute. Oddly enough, it's not similar, but Justin Long is in it. Justin Long he kind of picks up a girl at a bar, or maybe she picks him up. They go back to her house, which ends up being a mansion. She finds out she's really rich, and it's about their date. And it's very, very awkward. Things may be afoot. We're going to talk to director Neil LaBute. And by the way, Neil LaBute, you may want to look him up. You can look up the trailer for House of Darkness. Neil LaBute has done some amazing films that I know you love. He did The Wicker Man, which I know, like, we would not have the bees without Neil LaBute. He did a film. This is where I first learned of him. Was he did a film called In the Company of Men, which premiered at Sundance and was incredibly controversial. If you look up In the Company of Men, very controversial film. So I'm excited to talk to him about House of Darkness with Justin Long. But let's go to some chat questions here. And I gotta do something real quick. Let's see. Zach Kreger also acts in the movie a la James Morosini in I Love My Dad. Yes, he's in a scene. I don't want to point out the scene, but he's in a scene with Justin Long. Brief scene. So, yeah. But James Morosini's kind of like in the whole movie. So, yeah. Justin Long plays a perfect douche. Well, he does. He is such a douche. He's actually also a douche in House of Darkness as well.